Good morning. I'm out here messing with this Chevy C60. This is 1966 Chevy C60, and I've put up a bunch of clips of this thing. I enjoy putting up clips of the things that I'm working on currently. So like I worked on my Toyota pickup last week before, and I'll work on it probably after Christmas. This is Christmas Eve right now, and it's trying to rain. If it was a little bit colder, I'd say we'd get snow, but here in Tennessee, I think it's going to be warm this Christmas. But so this truck I've got here, the Chevy, it had an axle seal leak on the driver's side rear axle, and so I did a little video where I fixed the the drain plug where I could get it off, and right now I'm messing with this hub. I took the wheel off yesterday or the day before yesterday. I took the axle shaft off. It's up there. The axle shaft has a little bit of pitting kind of towards the end where the cap is, and I noticed that the axle shaft housing right down here, uh, this axle shaft housing right here, has got some grooves in it, and it's got some little splinters coming off of it where you can tell either a bearing failed or something, or somebody just beat this up with a hammer or something. I don't know. This inside of this housing is kind of beat, and and this nut in here is tightened down. And I'm not sure. I have never taken apart a an Eaton uh, 16 244 axle. This is a 16 244 axle. So I think this is a, if I read the numbers right, I think it's a Series 16 two-speed axle with a 24,000 pound load weight like limit. And I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I could tell somebody, probably my buddy that I got this truck from a few years ago, uh, probably had been in this axle at one time or another. So both axles have, well, the other side, I say both axles, both hubs have some new studs. This one has 4 new studs, and it had new cone washers on it, and this is ultra gray here, so that tells me he favors that ultra gray stuff. So I believe he was in this thing last. But in any case, this has a 3.5 inch nut on it, and I don't have a 3.5 inch uh, socket, so I have built this rig, and this is leaf spring, and this is a 3.5 inch piece of leaf spring, 2 4 inch pieces of leaf spring, and my really junky looking welding job. This one looks like it's not quite stuck right. This one's stuck right, but it's all over the place. I didn't bother cleaning this up when I welded it. I just welded through a lot of the junk. I had a broken 3/8 spark plug socket that was cracked down the middle, so I cut it off where the crack ended and welded it to the top, so I have something to put a ratchet on. And I had to bevel the edges to get it to fit inside the wheel hub, but it fits in there, and so I haven't loosened this yet. We're going to find out if it loosens. Or if I might have to get a breaker bar. I guess let me get a breaker bar. I'll be right back. This is that. This is that's an Icon 1/2 inch breaker bar, and I have had that thing bent in a U shape, and it returned to straight. I'm really surprised. I've never owned any Icon tools before, but this is what is this? This is the B325 Icon breaker bar. That's a Duralast adapter. I don't know. This probably will just slip off of this nut. It's snug. Let me get a better purchase here so I can lift with my legs. Oh, I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna break the adapter. I just moved the adapter. So here's what we're gonna do. Or I broke a weld or something. I felt it tick. Now I was twisting the end off the adapter. You can see that. I don't know if you can see it, but that adapter end was twisting. All right. So we'll go up to, let's see, I'm going to say that's a 7/8. That's one of the other reasons I welded that on there. Let me get a 7/8 socket. Now I'm going to try that 7/8. Oh, it's a 15/16. This is a 1/2 inch drive socket. I would have thought that that thing would have slipped first. Man. Try it again. Well, I'm just turning the hub now. Guess I'm gonna have to get some something. It's on there tight. I don't know. I don't know that it's supposed to be that tight. Let me get a bar or something. Stick it in the ground here. All right. So now this is a spud bar. That's a 6-foot spud bar. And where did I put my piece? Oh, here we are. And I have, this is a 3-foot handle off of a high lift jack. The high lift jack's broke, but the handle makes a great cheater bar. And it has plastic on one end and fits over the it fits over the what you call it, well. So let's see if we can break something. I imagine something will break, or my weld will give out or something. I would expect my welds to get first if this thing doesn't come loose. Hey, look at that, it's turning. Did not expect that outcome, actually. So I kind of expected my welds to break on that thing. I put a lot on that just now. I'm kind of surprised it held. And that just goes to show you, I've used these adapters quite a lot, but that Duralast adapter right there, 3/8 was never meant to hold what I would just put on that. You can see it started to twist, but I heard it start to tink, make noise. Yeah, she's loose now. Probably could have rounded the outside edges. I think because I have it such a snug fit with the hub, it kept it from jumping off of the nut itself. But this is spring steel, so it'd be something like 5160 high carbon, and my that trashy weld. I can't believe that stuff held. That's funny. I'll keep that. I'll put that in my I'll put that in my gang box. But well, I'm tickled. That came off. I imagine, I didn't think about it until just now, but I imagine that it was the hub was rotating with the nut when I was turning because of the bind. But yeah, you can see somebody has put an air hammer on it and tried to push it around. And I mean, I guess they did. I don't know. Whoops. Yeah, that one there is going to have to be tapped around, probably with a hammer and a screwdriver. Oh, that's just yeah, it was just a little bit snug. That's a keeper. Or just a spacer ring or something, but it fits in that groove. That's hard to get out of there. I need to go get my hooks. I got some little hooks and stuff that would be a lot easier to get all this stuff out. But I'll tell you what. All right. It's a spacer ring with a spot for key. And somebody else is beating this up down here at the bottom. That wasn't me. Let's see here. That. And I'm putting this in. I'm going to put it in the order. I'm going to stack it in the order in which it was on my, in which it came out. That's got a nub on it. And it's beat up. Man, somebody beat that sucker back in there. I wonder who did that. I wonder if my tool will fit back in there. I need to take a little bit more off the outside to get it back in there. Yeah, because it's just binding. If I round the edges on this, I can do that without, probably without beating on that little nub there and tearing something else up. Back again, I rounded these corners a lot more. I radiused them. You can see how I've kind of turned them out. And I don't know. Hey, there we go. I made this. I knew that there would be another series of nuts down in there, and so I made this 4 inches so I could get it further down in there. Now let's see if we can do this without the breaker bar. This one's not supposed to be snug. Well, it is. Huh. Isn't that something? I don't think it's supposed to be snug. We'll put a little bit more on it, see what we can get. It's turning. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, so the reason the hub's turning is not because the axle is turning. It's because the hub is binding on the outside of my rig. This little tool here. When it's getting wedged, it's actually binding on it. Yeah, we turned it a little bit. I'm gonna set this stuff here up on the spring. I don't know if you can see that, but and then I'll take my regular ratchet here. Oh, it's gonna insist on turning the hub. Isn't that something? Oh, nasty. Hey, gear oil stinks and let me get the nut. Oh, great. I'm gonna put this bar back. And we'll take this nasty gear oil socket there. And we'll see what we can turn. All right, got that loose. Oh man, somebody really beat this hub up. I don't know who did it, but Somebody beat the hub up, and I don't know. It seems like it's pretty difficult to get parts for these because, I mean, it's got to not be because they're on all these dump trucks and stuff. Little 10-ton dump trucks. I'll tell you what, pretty good little tool. Oh, I see. So the ring there, this one has a nub on it. So this ring has a nub on it, and that keeper ring, man, somebody look how beat that is. Somebody used an air hammer or something, or a big chisel, and beat that sucker in there. So here's what goes on. So let's see, this was that way. So this one here, so it has so that the axle housing has a keyway in it that little key fits in, and then this nut has a nub on it that fits in the holes on the keeper, and then the other nut, this one here, goes in here like this and snugs down and keeps that keeper from working its way out. And so that's the stack right there, just like that. Every stage of this, something has gotten beat up. I think that's it. I think that's bearings after that. All right, back from my phone call. I got a few picks. I'm gonna see if I can get this bearing out of here. It's loose. It's just sitting there, and I couldn't get a grip on it because my fingers are too fat to get in there. Bearing seems good. That's the bearing, and this is a Bauer. This outer bearing is a Bauer. Let's see if I can read this. Paper towel here. Bauer 3984. It says KN. So it's a Bauer KN 3984 is the outer bearing on the 16244 axle. Set that up there. It'll stay out of hopefully most of the weather. Yep, nothing else in there that I can reach from here. So let's see if this hub will come off. It may or may not come off. Need something. Let's see if a screwdriver will help. It could be jammed on the... it is. It's just jammed on the brake shoes. This is not a big screwdriver. This is cheap little Stanley screwdriver. I imagine this hub's pretty heavy. I don't know. Man, I'm gonna have to get brake shoes for this. It's got so much oil on the inside. Oh, she's a little heavy. It's not the worst. It's probably, I don't know, 100 pounds, 150 pounds, something like that. Let's flip this over. The seal is the bad part. Let me set you where you can see, hopefully. And if you're doing this kind of stuff, do it in your driveway. The oil will help keep the... Oh man, this surface the seal runs on is rust on the top and kind of pitted. You hear it? I'm gonna have to clean that up. Seal doesn't look too bad. Wonder how hard it is to get out. I gotta take, I don't know, I might not have to take the drum off. I think I will though. I think I'll have to take the drum off. So, let's see. You see that? This is the seal down in here. It's a seal, and then there's another bearing sitting down in there a little further. And this is an oil bath seal, and so what this does is the axle oil that's in here flows through this whole thing. It's not necessarily a greased seal. This housing is beat up here too. This is beat, and I wonder that bearing. I think this whole assembly here was pretty rough. I'm gonna probably take a file and clean the raceway up. I mean the keyway up. See, this one here was like this, and it goes in to right there. But see, the wear mark is up further, so something else, I guess. And the other one fits on the inside. That bearing is good though. Somebody replaced the bearings in it. That I can see. So this metal shield that's on the inside of the brake drum, I think, is in the way of the of getting the axle seal out. And I tell you what, these brake drum bolts were on there so tight. I had the hardest time. I have a spud bar through the studs, and I had a wrench below and a 3-foot breaker bar on the inside, and just getting these stupid bolts loose is about impossible. I've got them all broke loose now, but they were on there. It's just a 15/16 bolt. I'm gonna set them all up on top of the spring housing here, but I'll tell you what, they're a hassle. Even now that they're broke loose, they're still hard. And I'm still not convinced that I have to take the brake drum off to get to the thing. I just don't think that I can pry it out very easily with the brake drum on there. I'm sure that there's a puller that fits it, or I could make a puller that would fit it, that would hit that spot, and I could get down in there. But man, one, this is a deep drum, and so yeah, they were painted on or something. I don't know, but they did not want to come out. So I've now got axle grease all over, or axle oil, differential oil, all over me because I've been hugging this thing pretty much. I really just want to get the seal out so I can see if I can get the part number off of it, because there's no definitive answer online what axle seal you're supposed to have. And my buddy said he thought that the one that was on it was a national, something like that, which would be great to find another one. But all I could find at the different supply houses were either Chinese or some other off-brand, and something that's this hard to get to, I don't know that I feel like putting something cheap in there, because then you just end up changing it again. tell you what, it's on there. That's my spud bar making noise. I'll clean this all up before I put it back on the truck so I don't have dirt all in it. And if I'd thought about it, I would have put a piece of plywood down, I guess. One more. Tell you what, it's almost like they were cross-threaded on there. I don't know. They're stiff all the way out. I would almost think that they were peened or something, you know? Like maybe somebody peened them on, or they're nylon nuts or something. But, all right. Now, that is the shield there. I'm going to set that up on the truck. We'll see. I wonder if I can... There we go. I wondered if it would pry right out. Never done one. All right, this is... Where's my paper towel? This is a National. I bet this is the one my buddy replaced. This is National KL06 Mexico, part number B-3700009-B6. So if you're working, I'm going to clean that up, see if I can hold that up there for a minute. If you're working on a 16-244, there is the axle seal. I'm going to take that, clean it up. It doesn't look too bad, but the oil ring here is awful hard. It fits on there good. I don't know. It looks like a good seal. I just think that it is a little chewed up, but not real bad. To be honest, it doesn't look half bad. But I'm going to take it down and get another seal if I can. Bearings. It beats me. Usually you see these and they're greased. I pack them, but this seems good. I'm going to clean these up in diesel probably before I put them back in, but the bearings seem good. They're all rolling just fine. Any kind of grindy you hear is me. Dirt. All right. Inside the wheel hub looks good. Bearing race looks good. The seal housing has a couple little rusty burrs in it too. I'm going to take some 600 grit or 400 grit sandpaper and clean that out. So I went to Walmart and I got some supplies. I just stabbed myself in the leg with this pick. I hope it didn't get through my pants good. But I got, and if you don't know, I know brake clean is not all the same, but the cheapest brake parts cleaner that you can get is the Walmart brand Super Tech junk. It's like $3 and something. It's half the price of everything else. I think there's a little bit less in a can. But I'm going to take the pick, and I have some 200. Somebody texted me again. I have some 220 grit sandpaper, wet or dry, and I have a beat up old scraper and a steel brush. This is Harbor Freight steel brush. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to clean up this rust, and I'm going to bring you down and show you what I'm dealing with. I'm going to clean this whole brake drum. I went down and ordered the seal. This is the seal that I pulled off. I know I showed a minute ago in the video. I showed the seal number, but I'm going to do it again just so everybody knows. If you're changing the, and again, this is a Eaton 2-speed rear axle. It's a 16-244 axle. So it's a 16-244 axle. So this may not be the same, but I know they made that axle up into the, I think they're still making this axle, if I'm not mistaken. I think this axle is still being used in newer trucks, but that's the part number right there. Let's see if it'll read it. Come on now. Right there. That's the part number. This is a national. And just in case you can't read that, it's a B-370009-BG. And this seal, O'Reilly's has it for $54 something. It's $60 with tax for this seal from O'Reilly's. So I don't know that that's the best price, but that's who I deal with here in town. I have a commercial account with them. So in any case, man, somebody beat that to pieces. I don't know why they did that, but I'm going to clean all these threads with the pick, and I'm going to show you this rust that's in here. And I'm waiting on the seals to come in. I ordered them. They said they'd be here. It's still Christmas Eve right now, about 10 or 11 o'clock right now, but O'Reilly said they'd have them by 1 o'clock, they think, today. But I probably won't get down there until the day after Christmas or something. So I'll continue this video. I'll put it all together, But in any case, here we are. So this, you probably can't see right here. There's a patch of rust right here on the spindle. There's rust right here where the on the top. Doesn't feel like it's on the bottom. I got gloves too, the Walmart brand junky ones, but it's better than nothing. But it feels smooth around the bottom, but there's rust right here on top. And I'm going to spray that. You'll probably see it better if I degrease that section. I'm going to try not to get it into the axle because but I am going to change the oil anyway. Yeah, pitting is the word there. There's pitting. And that's probably what tore the seal out. You see that, all that rust right there? So that's what the sandpaper is for. These brakes are just gunked up. I'm gonna put the little tube on this thing, even though it doesn't really matter where it goes. It just seems to direct it better. But I'm gonna clean out the whole brake housing. Brush it all off. try and save these brake pads. I mean, you can see there's 3/8 of an inch or nearly a half an inch. It's probably about 7/16 left on that brake shoe there. So I may just wipe them off and hope that they don't delaminate from all the oil and grease. Good news is the brake cylinder doesn't seem to be leaking. Yeah, look at that goop coming off of that. I got my coffee sitting up here above all this. I'm hoping I don't get a whole lot in it. I'll tell you what, the axle oil on this thing is some viscous stuff. And by the way, I priced out. I went down to Tractor Supply while I was down there because this is going to take about 4 gallons of 3 or 4 gallons of axle oil, gear oil. And I priced out the oil, and I think O'Reilly's is about 50 cents more than Tractor Supply. And I think the more I spend with O'Reilly's, the better anyway. So I might just get it for an extra 50 cents for 5 gallons. I mean, it's $89. No, $94.99 from I guess it's $1. $94.99 from Tractor Supply, and it's $95.99 or something like that from O'Reilly's. So that's not much difference. I tell you what, it's not really cutting that grease. I'll take some paper towels and try and wipe the most of it off. Hey, look at that. That's the goop that the oil turns into when it gets out and gets around all this junk and gets heated up. Yeah, that brake still got bevel on it. So these brake shoes right here, you can tell they were nearly new. They've still got the bevel where they bevel up to the full thickness. So these shoes, I'm going to just see if I can clean them up. I hate to waste a set of good shoes. Man, I'd stabbed my knee pretty good with that pick. I didn't mean to, but I'm going to throw that open there. I guess nobody means to, huh? So this is, you can see this pitting right here. It doesn't extend all the way around, but this is where your bearing rides. So when you're bearing, this is your bearing. Not bearing, this is your axle seal. Your bearing rides down here, and then you have a bearing that rides out here. So both of these bearings, like this one here, it'll ride right there, and that'll be the inner bearing, and the outer bearing, and you face the cones inward. And this bearing rides in this race right here. So these two bearings here, they're still good. And so actually this pitting right here on the inner one here, well, that's a good snug fit. Yeah, now I got it stuck. Yeah, so this bearing right here, I'm going to note down all of these numbers. So this is the inner bearing. It says Bauer 49 SAX The outer one says Bauer 3984. In case you wondered. But in any case, this pitting won't really affect the inner bearing the way it sits in here. It's just a little scuffy. But this section here will be affected by the seal, because the seal goes on there, and the seal goes on there like this. It fits this away, and it fits onto this spot here. And because of the way it fits on there, it's supposed to rotate and not leak, but it leaks because of all this scoring here. So I'm going to clean that up, get as much of that rust off as I can. You can see it's just rust. It's coming off. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. This is all beat up. I wonder if it got welded on or something. I don't know. And this has all been beat up in here. All of it. Like, I can see, man, maybe somebody welded this to try and fill it in. I don't know. All right, so I've cleaned this up. I've cleaned this one up. I'm gonna, the old seal is right here. I don't have the new seal yet. And I'm gonna take a little bit of oil and put it on the seal and see how it rides on it. I'm gonna put a new seal on it anyway, but I'm out of curiosity. I want to see how rough it is to it. Well, it goes on it. What's turning right now, though, is the seal is sitting on the axle. I mean, the seal is sitting on the axle, and the seal housing here is spinning on the seal. Oh, there we go. But it looks like it's hitting good on it. So I'm going to say that this is smooth enough. I don't know. It's a little bit, it's got a little texture to it. It's not like butter smooth like you would want on something. Maybe I'll work it a little bit more. I think I was looking up inside the axle housing here, and I actually think that this wheel bearing went out and ate a hole right here, and this is all weld material because it feels rough on the inside right there, but not on the bottom, and the bottom is smooth. And I think like if these two bearings were to go, and then this axle, or maybe this bearing was good, but this bearing went, then this would so that doesn't make any sense. It would eat a hole in the top here. And but in any case, these threads got messed up, and so you can see right here they're kind of squiggly, and so the nut doesn't go on there real well. So I'm going to clean them out a little bit, and then I'm going to chase the threads a little bit with a chisel. All right, so I'm back. I've got the seal. This is the old seal, and like I've shown a couple times, it's a National B-37009-BG. This is a precision, and the fellas down at O'Reilly's said that National bought precision or vice versa or something like that. But in any case, this is a 37009 made in Taiwan, and it's different. And I looked, they showed me on the computer, they've got the National, they've got this exact seal on on their computer, but it says that they can't order it anymore. It says it's special order, but he said they can't actually get it. And which I imagine that there's probably somewhere you could get it from. But the seal that they replaced it with is this thing. And you can see, well, one, this has got a spacer to hold that ring just right, which I'm not going to take out yet. So see this ring right here, this is a spacer, and you can see the spring rubber ring there. This spacer comes out and that slides on. Now this is set up different than this. This side faces the oil in the seal on the axle, and on this one, this side faces the oil in the seal on the axle. Actually, it doesn't say, but it's the only way that it can go in because this has got a flange ring on it. You can see. So it has to go into the hub this way, down, just like this one would have to go in this way. And there's some differences in the size of it, but I think because of the way it's going to sit, it's only going to sit that deep into the hub. Yeah, I don't know. It may not work. We'll find out. I'm going to clean the spot up a little bit. Looks like I've got a little bit of surface rust on there. I sprayed all of the parts with PB Blaster, and I'm going to see if I can. I'm going to make sure that's nice and clean. It actually feels okay. It's got a little bit of roughness to it, but it's a lot smoother than it was. I don't mind just a little bit of a leak. I understand this hub is in pretty bad shape, this spindle. So this spindle can be cut, and they may have done it already, but if I take all the brake assemblies off, this spindle can be cut and a new spindle can be welded in, and that may be what needs to be done eventually. But right now, my goal is to make sure that the seal fits and it seals, that the axle spins and everything. I did want to see, some of these hubs have a spot for you to oil them. This one does not. So the way this truck's set up, the manual says to jack up one side and let the oil, and leave it for 1 minute and let the oil flow to the other side, and then jack it up the other way and let it flow to this side for 1 minute. So, will it work? Will it not? Who knows? But in any case, I'm going to start pulling my bearings out and reassembling this hub, and we'll see how it goes. So the hub is sitting here, and this bearing has to go in before the seal goes in. This bearing, it's been sitting in PB Blaster this whole time. And I'm not sure. I'm going to dry this off. Let me get some paper towels and dry this off before I stick the seal in, because the seal has that red on the outside of it. And I'm not sure. It doesn't say to put any kind of, it doesn't say to put any kind of sealant on it, any kind of you know, anything. So I'm not gonna. This other one didn't have anything on it. I think that what's on the rim itself is normal. This is painted on, it didn't have anything on it. So I'm gonna see, this should fit down in there just like that. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know if it's gonna have enough space to fit all the way around. We'll find out though. It's only a $60 part, so we'll know here in a bit. I'm gonna jack it back up. I don't think I can get my hammer down in there, but I could probably get this hammer down in there. This hammerhead came off. It's well, I don't know if I want to do that. It'll get dirt down in it. Let me find something else. I'll just tap this extension. All right. Now that seal is all the way set down in there. This piece is the spacer that was holding that. I'm hoping that sits down in there just fine. But let's see, I'm going to transfer that to there. I got to put that outside one on. Let's see, we'll oil this seal just slightly. This is the spindle here. Take some this is old oil. I'm just oiling that spindle, and I'm going to take the spacer out. And I'm going to oil the rubber gasket. And then we're going to set it on there and see if it goes on. I mean, you know, what can it do? It's either going to work or it's not going to work. Oh no, I forgot about that. I've got to put that flange on. Well, I guess I'm not ready to that point yet. Forgot about the flange here. I went to pick this hub up. The hub just came off. But I got the bolts here and the flange. You'll see. Not that. This bolt here. You know, I should have just took the hub off and tapped the bearing in and everything instead of playing games with that. Yeah, these are those. All right, so I got the brake drum tightened back on. I'm gonna throw this Pro is a mighty relative term for something that's sheesh. Tell you what, that thing tilted on me. Let's see if I can. How did I get this off? There we go. Tell you what, that hub's not light. Mainly, I just want to make sure that there's no grit inside the axle hub, if I can help it. All right. This one here goes in. Same deal. And then what you're hearing grinding is the brakes. They're actually rubbing on the inside of it. I don't know. We'll see if that seal seals. Be surprised. It just looks, I mean, you can't see up in there where the what is that? You can't see up in there where the seal's mating to the surface. So unless you didn't have a brake drum on it, you won't know unless it leaks if the seal's mating up with the surface correctly, you know. So you really don't know. This one, when you put it in, this is the one that has the stop on it for catching the keeper. It goes on first. And I've noticed that because of the way the keyway is cut, if you don't get them started on just right, they don't quite fit on there. They don't tighten up all the way. I mainly want the seal to ride on its spot like it's supposed to. And getting it all the way back and then backing it off may be my only way to make sure of that. I'm watching the bearings to make sure that the bearings are turning and not the whole raceway and everything. And I'm also making sure that I'm getting it snug. I don't think that I can Actually, not sure that I can over tighten this particular one because of the way that everything is. I'm going to make sure I don't have any play either way. Now I have the stub facing out right there, and that's the next thing that goes on. So this key here goes in the keyway at the top, and we'll have to see if the stub's going to line up with a hole. If it's not, I'm going to have to tweak it one way or another. It looks like it's got to go just slightly tight, not much, just a fraction. And this is where these little picks, this is a cheapo pick that came with something I had, but they come in handy for getting behind things and pulling them out. And I'm gonna find my breaker bar, and I'm gonna go just a hair bit snug, and that ratchet's just not doing it for me, I don't think. Let's see, is it snug? I think it's the other way, actually. Yeah. I think it's just a hair bit looser. So I think I'm pretty much as tight as I can go. All right, now that's really close from going on. I can't see it real well. I'm gonna probably get me a piece of plywood so I can get down lower. I can't see nothing real well here. Okay. Now that's on the stub that way. And I'll make a point. This if you have this kind that have the holes punched in it, if you notice right here, the hole is closer to the keyway on this side and less farther away on this side. So if you turn it around, if you can't get it one way and you turn it around to see, it's not going to hit. It's not going to be on it that way. But if you can't get it one way, you can always turn it around and get it closer. And this is all supposed to probably be backed off just a hair bit. You got to tighten it up. I'm no expert on this stuff, but in any case, there we go. That's that. This one here, this is the side facing the other nut, because this side has been beat up, and it's going to go on there like this and get snugged down as tight as I can make it, because this is the jam nut for it. The other one, you don't want it too tight. It'll put pressure on the bearings. You don't want to crush the bearings. This is the... Now I could have went probably and bought a socket for this, but being that day that I was working on it, I didn't want to. I didn't. Now that's just the jam nut. So that keeps that tabbed keeper in place. And this thing, no play on it. I'm going to put just a little bit more on that. But other than that, I think next thing I'll have to do is find myself some RTV, or cut myself a gasket. Ooh. Brake clean. I'm going to clean the surface here and all these bolts before I put this ultra gray that I got here. I don't have a lot of this, but I don't think it'll take much to seal this. So I wouldn't spray around the housing, because this is kind of a degreaser and I don't want it getting in the oil so much. But I think just kind of degreasing around the bolts and well, where the seal is going to ride for this well, I'm doing that wrong. I'm saying that wrong. I mean where the sealant is going to go for this axle. So this is where the axle cap fits. I don't even know what the correct term is for it. I forget. Hubcap. It's not a hubcap though. Something else. But it doesn't really matter. I know where it goes, and that's what matters. This nut is snug. There's no play in this. It spins just fine. And those bearings have got some oil in them, because when I put them up while I was waiting on the seal, I made sure to put them in a Ziploc bag with some PB Blaster on it. So I'm going to also clean the cap on the axle. Let me get the axle real quick. You can see where all this water is beaded up on the axle because it's cold, and also it's been raining, but it was sprayed down with PV Blaster as well to keep it from rusting, so it didn't rust, which is what we want. I'm going to try and avoid rust if we can. But you can see right here, this is sort of pitted, and I think that's where there was maybe at some point in its life, not since I've had it, because the oil that came out of this was clean, and so my buddy must have changed the oil in it at some point or another. But and gotten that if there was water in it, got the water out. But in any case, the teeth have got a little bit of wear on them up here, the spline. I can see it's a little bit of wear. Not too bad. Still got plenty on it. Not enough that it's chipping parts off of it, you know, and getting in the differential. So I've got to clean this hub down here up. So this down here, it's got to be clean. And it's got a little bit of a seal to it. So I'm going to put some Ultra Gray on it. It looks like it had the remnants of something. But anyway, I'm going to clean all this up, and then we'll put it back in. Hey man, I can see that. Just did all that and slid this axle back in here. I didn't even think about that. But it had new cone washers on it. So each one of these gets a lock nut. I gotta say, I've had a lot of tools, but this gear wrench 90 tooth half-inch drive ratchet is just an excellent ratchet. It doesn't have a lot of, I mean, that you can see that bolts, that nut's half-inch away. The back drag is low enough that I can sit there and work it like this. Generally, back drag will just keep you twisting that, but this is actually a really good, smooth ratchet. Well, I'm a big dummy. I left this shield off, which goes inside the brake drum, and you can see these are the places where it's not like a oil seal or anything. I think it's more like a dust shield sort of, but it really doesn't. The hub is smaller than this, so dust gets up in here anyway. But it does go on this thing. I'm gonna put it behind the seat and see if it leaks. And the next time I change the brake shoes, I'll put this thing back in because it goes behind the drum. But I had all this up, had it bolted together. I had all this torqued down and everything, and I'm sitting there going, man, where'd this come from? And I know the exact part it is. It's just one of them things. I just forgot to put it in. Sometimes that happens. I could take the whole thing back apart right now and do it, but it's not a spacer part. It's not a critical part as far as that goes. It's more of a dust shield, and I'll be curious to see if anything. I actually think that this would catch because the oil would catch where the bearing is. If it leaks out, it would catch in this and then fill it up. So I'm kind of curious. It should probably leak faster if it's going to leak. Which the interesting thing will be to see if that new seal is different than the other one will leak. But I'm gonna not worry about that right now. I'm gonna put the tires back on, the wheels and tires back on. I don't know if this is cleaning out. Yeah, I don't know that it's gonna. Man. Look at that. I was gonna just slap this thing back on, but I think I'm gonna have to set it over to the side and clean it up real quick. All right. Let's see if I can negotiate this. May need to jack it up again. Let me jack it up. There we go. Tell you what, them tires ain't light either. All right, let's go find that ring. All right. So we got that one right there. I'm putting my valve stems where I can potentially reach them from the front. So that's an issue, is you want to make sure that you can get a hand up in there. Even if it's difficult, you want to make sure you can get a hand up in there. If it's, you don't want it on one of these angles or close to it. You kind of want it center of the in-between. I'm going to jack this up a little bit. I think I would rather have that valve stem tell you what, negotiating these things is treacherous. Sheesh. Ooh, tell you what. Let's see if I can negotiate it just a fraction. Whew. All right, that's pretty close to where it was. And we'll get some of this stuff started so it'll stay on. I don't know if the seal's gonna leak or not. I don't know, I'm curious. Let's see. I'll leave the coffee. You gotta make sure you don't leave your coffee on the leaf springs up there, you know. But as far as it goes, I'm going to tighten these lug nuts up and get this all centered up, trued up so that it'll roll smooth. And but that's replacing a seal on a Eaton 2-speed rear axle, 16 244, and it's on this Chevy C60. But I think those are off an F700, something like that. But they put Eaton axles on all kinds of stuff. Only really way you can tell this is off a Ford is the shackle for the leaf springs says FOMOCO, Ford Motor Company. So right there, that's the only way you can tell that it was off of a Ford. As far as I know, those Eatons were put on all kinds of stuff. They're on internationals. I see them come up for sale off of international trucks quite a lot. So in any case, y'all have a nice day. I'm going to try and edit this decently so that it kind of all runs together well. That other video I did of taking the oil out of the differential on this, I'm going to do the same exact thing that is in that video and drain the differential oil. I have 5 gallons of 80-90 gear oil that's going to go in this thing, new, and then I'll get to see if it leaks. And I have no idea whether or not the new seal is even touching. So I'm worried about it a little bit because I think the other one rode in a different spot. This one rides a little bit further in towards the axle. I mean towards the wheel hub. But anyway, y'all have a nice day. If you like this kind of stuff, just general stuff where you're working on what you got, backhoes and trucks and tractors and gardening and blacksmithing and all that kind of stuff. Just your basic backwoods homesteading kind of stuff. Feel free to subscribe and leave me a comment. I do answer comments. Y'all have a nice day.